without further ado, this is the Road to a Million, and we're going to be talking about how to become an overnight success. Hooray! So exciting! Okay, so I became a business owner in 2013, okay? And so I knew I was going to become an overnight success. I remember walking out of the gym I worked for. I worked as a personal trainer in a gym, and I left to start my own gym. I remember walking out, and I literally remember looking behind me and being like, how come no one's following me? Like, doesn't everybody see what I see? I remember that moment. I was like, dude, I'm going to be successful. There's no way that I'm not going to be. Right? 3 years later, after starting my own gym, I made $135,000 in 3 years. And if you guys want me to help you do the math, that's $45,000 per year. That's $3,750 per month. And I own a gym. I had rent. My profit in those 3 years, from January 14th to December 2016, was $1,620. I knew wrong. I think that's why I'm so triggered by the word I know. I'm like, I know. Well, I knew wrong. But what I discovered was that I should actually find someone who actually was successful. And so I began searching for that very person. Okay? And to me, I wanted to find someone who had a successful business just like mine. And not only that, but I also wanted to find someone who had a successful business who helped other people just like mine. And so I ended up finding this someone, right? And in the year before I found this person, so I found them in April of 2017. From April 1st, 2016, see if I can pull this open here, to April 1st, 2017, my revenue was at $73,000 for the year, and I had profited $709, right? Doing pretty good. And so after I found this someone, I literally invested all my monies into coaching with this unicorn person, right? And in April 2017 through April 2018, a year after I met this unicorn, my business grew from $70,000 in revenue to $342,000 in revenue, and I netted what I had made the entire year before. I netted $71,000. Finally got a little taste of that overnight success, right? Who was that unicorn coach? Anyone know who that unicorn coach was? Come on, I know you guys know. Come on. There we go. It was a young Alex Hormozi, right? And so Alex helped me become an overnight success. And I translated that success into buying real estate. Right? And Kate and I bought our very first investment property. It was 1109 Cardinal Drive in Belgrade, Montana. Google it. And then we bought 13 Sky Drive, also in Belgrade, Montana. And then we bought 420 North 6th, and that's actually in Bozeman, Montana. And this property, we actually lived in one unit, and then we actually rented out the other unit, and this was our first unit we actually put on Airbnb, so it became a short-term rental. And the house that we lived in before we bought this house, we turned that one into a long-term rental as well. And then we bought another investment property, 306 Flathead. And then we actually didn't, the next door that we added wasn't a new purchase, but in the house that we had bought, it actually was a 4-bedroom. And the 4th bedroom, we had been using it as an office / home gym. For all you guys who are watching this, you guys can see it. And then we decided to invest a little bit of money, and we turned it into a nice, cute studio with a full bathroom and a kitchenette. And this became our second short-term rental. And so the second short-term rental is what started causing problems. Cleaning and laundry now became an additional duty that we had to do in order to run this real estate business. Okay. And so the solution was to start a whole nother business. And so on October 19th, 2020, Bozeman 5-Star Cleaning was born. We started this business with 0 clients and 0 cleaning experience. And in the very first year, from October 19th, 2020 to October 19th, 2021, we generated $138,000 in revenue, and we profited $44,000. I was like, Katie, great freaking job, right? You're a stud. And then in year number 2, it almost doubled again, or almost doubled, excuse me. So from October 19th, 2021 to October 19th, 2022, the business grew to $364,000 in revenue, and it profited $91,000. It's like, dang, okay. And so in 2022, we actually went to Vegas. And we were fortunate to be able to have dinner with Alex and Layla. And it was at that dinner that Alex was asking me about this cleaning business, now that we had been into for about 2 years. Which, by the way, Alex, let me go back a little bit. When we first started this cleaning business, we actually were about 6 weeks into the cleaning business, and it was 2020, and Alex asked me why I started this cleaning business. And then after I told him, he in a very nice way said, why? You already have this gym business. Why don't you just go focus on that, right? And so, but I wasn't quite able to clarify with him why we started it. It wasn't necessarily because I wanted to replace the gym business at the time, but he was not all for me starting this cleaning business. Let's just put it that way. However, 2 years later, he asked me how it was going now, and so I told him that our cost to acquire a customer, it was like $50. He was like, really? He's like, bro, why aren't you rich? And I was like, well, you see, the problem isn't necessarily getting customers. The problem is in getting cleaners to reliably show up and actually do a great job. And then all of a sudden, Alex kind of like sat back and he's like, He's like, this is actually not like the gym business. He's like, you're not in the marketing and sales business, which very much is what the gym business is. He's like, you're not even in the cleaning business. He's like, you're in the recruiting and training business. And it was at that dinner that Kate and I got clarity on exactly where we need to put our attention and where we need to focus on. And after we got clarity, October 19, 2022 to October 19, 2023, our business grew to $1 million in top line, and we profited $219,000. Another overnight success. And then in year number 4, which October 19, 2023 to October 19, 2024, the business grew again to $1.2 million and then profited $227,000. Curious, anyone in here would like to take home $200,000? Put it in the chat if you're interested in taking home $200,000. Or more. Sorry, I don't want to. You can make more if you like. Okay. What if you could actually take home double that? What if you make 200 times 2? Yeah. Exactly. And that's exactly why we started this second cleaning business. Like, if we did this once and we did it 2 years in a row, by golly, let's start a second one. Let's see if we can make $400,000. And so on March 8th, 2024, Mesa 5-Star Cleaning was born. And as you guys can see here, in January and February, we did $0 because the business didn't exist. And in March of 2024, we did $2,959, proof that we started with 0 clients. And then in the second month, in April, we did $14,000. In May, we did almost $21,000. In June, we did $23,000. In July, we did 25, or excuse me, we did 29. And in August, which is month 6, we did 37,000. And then in September, which was month 7, we did 42,000. And then in month 8, which was in October, we did $53,000. And that's where we're sitting at today. Anyone know why we're growing so fast? Anyone know why we're growing so fast? Yeah. What you're seeing right now, the overnight success, started 10 years ago. Started 10 years ago in a totally different business. It took me a decade to learn the skill of being able to market and sell. And then it took me 2 years in this cleaning business to finally discover the real business that we're actually in. And so, to the public, this is Mesa 5-Star Cleaning. But to Katie and I, this is Mesa 5-Star Recruiting and Training. And so this is through the first 36 weeks in business. We have generated 1,900 cleaner leads. Out of those 1,983 cleaner leads, we performed 360 phone interviews. We had 180 people no-show their phone interview. Crazy. We performed 103 Zoom interviews. We had 29 people no-show their Zoom interview. Out of those 103 performed Zoom interviews, we hired 48 people. Out of those 48 people, 8 quit before they even got to onboarding. We hired them, we scheduled them for onboarding, they quit. Out of those 40 people we hired, 12 of them either quit or got fired during the training process, which is the first 2 weeks. So out of those 48 people, 20 didn't even make it 2 weeks. And then out of those 40 people we hired, 17 either quit or got fired after the 2 weeks. And right now, Mesa 5-Star Recruiting and Training has 12 active cleaners. So when I say we actually knew what business we were in, this is what I'm talking about. If you want to grow a $1 million cleaning business and you want to grow it fast and you want to grow it on purpose, you'd be focused on getting cleaner leads and turning those into cleaners. And this is the work it takes. So, I'm actually going to go back to here, and we're going to pop up what has now happened in Mesa 5-Star Cleaning in week number 36. So, our goal is to get 14 cleaners. Katie, why 14 cleaners?
Because with 14 cleaners, we could have the opportunity to generate $83,000 in revenue per month.
Exactly. If you guys don't have the people, you'll never generate the revenue. Like, the only way you generate revenue is off cleaning. I don't care how good your 2 cleaners are. My 14 shitty cleaners will generate more revenue than your 2 great cleaners. The quantity of cleaners matters. And then the quality of cleaner matters. Understand the order. And so this week we had 13. Our goal is for each of our cleaners to work on average 28 hours a week. It's assigned cleaning hours. Last week we averaged 19. The assigned cleaning hours, our goal is 383. Last week we did 225. Client goals. Our reoccurring client goal is 161 clients. Katie, how many clients did we have last week?
121. We are so close.
Yeah. And so for you guys who are watching this, you guys can see last week we had 114. 2 weeks ago we had 109. 3 weeks ago we had 106. And 4 weeks ago we had 109. So this is something we've been putting a lot of attention on. And the more attention that we put onto it, what happens to it, Katie?
It grows.
Attention, right? And so we are quite literally 40 recurring clients away from having an opportunity to actually turn this into $1 million cleaning business. Why are the recurring so important?
Recurring allows you to have a projected amount of revenue on the books for the following month. So at 161 recurring clients, we will have a projected revenue on the books of roughly $60,000 sitting there waiting for us to just show up to.
This is the only thing that makes a cleaning business valuable, is the fact that it has reoccurring. The fact that it's a common practice for clients to say, come in my house every month, or every 2 weeks, or every week. That's what makes this business valuable. Total cleans. In order for us to have a $1 million business, we need to do 96 cleans, and last week we did 59. It's not bad. It's not bad. Getting closer. As you guys can see, last week we actually did 60, which was a PR. 2 weeks before that, we did 54, then 52, then 52. So this is steadily growing. Katie, what's our projected monthly revenue as of 11/15, which was on Friday?
51,000.
51,000. Yeah. And so right now we're a little bit ahead of where we were last month. So that's pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool to see. Month-to-date revenue, we're at $30,000. So halfway through the month, we're at $30,000. So yeah, so you just do the halfway point, that would project us to at 60. Unfortunately, Thanksgiving is going to kind of throw that for a little bit of a loop, but it's totally fine. I don't care about 1 week. Don't care about 1 week. Yeah, we had a weekly revenue last week of 13,702, which wasn't a PR, but it was the second most revenue that we've ever done. The week before that, we did 14,700, and that was actually a second PR. So 14,729 was our PR, and then 13,700 was the second best that we've ever done. So again, it's cool to see that number consistently growing as well. In order for us to hit $1 million month, we need to hit $19,000 a week. Right. All right. Also, if you guys are seeing this vision sheet for the very first time, this is the brand new vision sheet. I've actually had this up for 2 weeks. And so if you guys are inside the coaching program, it's inside the vision module, and you guys can go get your hands on this. You can copy this, and you have access to this brand new vision sheet. It is pretty, and it makes a lot more logical sense, as you guys will see as I'm going through this. So in revenue, our ZenMaid, we billed 30,000. QuickBooks, we received 29. Out of the 13,702 that we billed in ZenMaid this week, $5,763 was initial revenue. And how much of it was recurring, Katie?
$7,900.
Almost $8,000 of recurring monies. Yeah. That's one of the best numbers I've seen for this business. And look at those outstanding invoices. Less than 7 days, 2,000. Greater than 7 days.
0.
Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, let's talk about discounts. So we gave away some discounts. It looks like we had 2 correction cleans. We had Darcy and Lori. We gave off some money for correction cleans. These 10% discounts, these are all Google review discounts. So one of the ways that, as you guys will see, we get a lot of Google reviews. And why do we get a lot of Google reviews, Katie?
Because we ask for them.
We ask for them. And we make an irresistible offer. That's what we do. We do a good job, and we make an irresistible offer when we ask for a Google review. And so people just do it. $50 homepage voucher. We had one with Shane here. This is also something, if you guys are inside the coaching program, if you guys look in to the modules, you'll see a brand new module in there called how to get 10 plus homepage leads a week that don't cost you a thing. And so, yeah, we get a lot of homepage leads, and a lot of those end up converting. And when they do, we will give them $50 off by actually booking online. Okay. And then we had a $100 voucher for Loria. So altogether, we gave away $331 in discounts last week. All right, let's talk about marketing now. So marketing is, I would say it's the thing that like starts the whole business system, right? So when you have a marketing machine, it gets people to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in your cleaning services. And without having somebody be interested, then you don't even have the opportunity to have clients to actually have them pay you to actually run a business. So marketing is like the first step in this whole process. And so the two areas that we spend money on, that we invest money on for marketing, is we invest in Google Local Services and we invest in Facebook. Okay. And so on Google Local Services, we spent $473. On Facebook, we spent $1,200. So we spent a total of $1,680 last week. From those monies, we got 61 Facebook leads. We got 3 Facebook Messenger. We had 8 people who called our business who we did not answer the phones. These people were not clients. They were not customers. They were not contacts. That's how we're able to differentiate these. We had 6 Google Local Service leads. We had 8 homepage leads. We had 7 incoming call leads. And we had 0 referrals. So we had a total of 93 leads last week for a total cost of $18.07. Okay. So out of these 93 leads that we had last week, let's see what we did with them. So now we're going to move down to the sales section. And so we have 2 office gals, Megan and Keziah. They've both been in the office for just 3 months now, since August. They both came into the office with how much office experience, Katie?
None.
0. Right? They were both cleaners who we gave an opportunity to come to the office. And they were both only cleaners for like a month. They weren't cleaners for very long with us. But Megan made 117 calls and Keziah made 147, so altogether they made 264. We answered 63 calls. We missed 38. We had 34 quote calls scheduled. Out of those 34 quote calls that were scheduled, 24 showed, and we performed 51. How do we perform 51 phone calls? We only had 24 people show up to their scheduled appointment.
Because we made outbound attempts to leads that had not scheduled quote calls.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've learned in the last decade is, how do I maximize my marketing dollars? If I'm going to spend $1,600 a week to get 93 leads, I'm not just going to call them once, leave them a voicemail, ask them to call me back, and expect them to call me back. I'm going to continue to call them. I'm going to give them attention. I'm going to continue to let them know that I am just as interested in helping them out as they're interested in my cleaning service. And so that's how we were able to create 26 additional quotes given by simply dialing and calling these new leads. And out of those 51 quote calls we performed, Katie, how many did we close?
23.
23. And so our projected revenue was $8,640 on that new money. And so if we look back here, how many of you guys would be interested in spending $1,600 to make $8,640 in new money? That's not profit. You have other expenses to pay. But how many of you guys would think that is a good investment if you guys spent $1,680 to make $8,640 in the very same week?
Oh, yeah.
Put it in the chat if you think that's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. It's an okay idea. But if your business only depends on that, you're going to make your life very difficult, because that's not profit. That's just revenue. This is where the profit comes into play. Okay, how many conversions did we make last week?
10.
This is where your profit is. The reoccurring is where your profit is. That's where your margin is. That's where your peacefulness comes at the beginning and the end of the month. It's from your reoccurring. And so last week, we converted 10 of those initial cleans into conversions, and our projected monthly revenue is $3,319 on those 10 people. That is the reason why you want to continue to market up front. The only way you're going to get 10 conversions is if you sell 20-something people a week, because only half of them are going to convert. If that, like that's a good number. It's more like 25%. So if you guys want the conversion, which is the ultimate number in this business, the only way to get conversions is to get new sales. The only way to get new sales is to market and to get new leads. Therefore, if you want to get conversions, you must market and get new leads. And then you must convert them. And then you can wake up with $3,319 more dollars on next month's books than you did this month. And that's just for a week. If you do that times 4, it's an extra $12,000 a month if you were to continue this rate. That's the number to focus on. Last week, we only had 5 spots that went unfilled. So our schedule, like our girls did a good job of filling the schedule. Going into this week, we have 23 spots open, which probably won't last very long. So now, if you get leads and you're able to convert those leads into initial sales, and you convert those initial sales into recurring, what's the next problem that you're going to have?
Not enough spots on the schedule to sell these new clients into. Cleaners.
So let's talk about cleaner acquisition. Right? Again, this is the game we're in. We're in the cleaner recruiting and training business. And so last week we spent $240. We got 36 applicants. We made 25 outgoing calls. We did 15 interviews, we had 15 interviews scheduled. 12 of them showed up. Out of those 12 that showed up, we pushed 7 of them to Zoom interviews. So we pushed 7 to Zoom interviews, and then 7 actually showed up to their Zoom interview, and we hired 1. And so, if we look at here in our training pipeline right here, Katie Ofut, she was scheduled to show up to onboarding on Monday, 11/11, or 11/7, and she did not show up. Dang it. Nicole showed up, and she made it through her first week of training. She's now in her second week of training. Jasmine went through her first week of training, and then we had to let her go. And then Alejandra Kelty started today. She did onboarding today. And then we actually just hired another gal, I believe. I just saw it on the thing. She starts December 2nd, but she's not going to show up on this thing this week. So right now, we need Mo Cleanas. And so our cleaner fulfillment last week, Jocelyn did 30 cleaning hours, Alyssa did 32, Tiffany did 30, Kayla is she's a tough cookie. She had her younger brother actually passed away last week, and it was crazy. Crazy situation. But she actually showed up to the team meeting today, and yeah, just a lot of respect for that girl. A lot of respect for her. Asia had 21 hours. Miranda had 26. Amanda had 32. Raven is definitely our bottom cleaner on the totem pole. Yeah. We just use her at this point just if somebody else calls out, because she's not consistent or available very often. So she'll be the next one to get that we phase out. Audrey, she had 24 hours. She also is the second to the bottom. High probability that she will not be here very long as well. And then Emma, we really like Emma. She's done a great job. And then Nicole was in her first week of training, and no major red flags. So we'll see. We shall see. And then Kazai and Megan, both are Office gals, they actually took on an Airbnb. This was actually not this week, but the previous weekend. They took on an Airbnb, and so that's why you see they have 2 hours of cleaning as well. So altogether, we had 12 cleaners who worked, and then 1 trainee, so 13 total cleaners. And then we had 225 assigned cleaning hours, 19 cleaner hours worked, and then our revenue per clean was $61, which is probably one of the higher revenues that I've seen. Revenue per clean, or revenue per hour, excuse me. So that's kind of cool. Cleaner fulfillment. So we have correction clean and discount cleans. So Lori Still, we just discounted her clean by $50, looks like. One-on-ones. They have one-on-ones with Jasmine, Tiffany, Emma, and Asia. Again, Jasmine's was actually me having to let her go. Tiffany, Emma, and Asia were all great one-on-ones. And then client fulfillment, we have 59 cleans. 18 were new clients, and 41 were reoccurring. I think that number is so cool to see the recurring number so high. 1 correction clean, 121 recurring clients, 69 occasional clients. How many Google reviews, Katie, did we get last week?
14.
14. How many Google reviews do we have total?
281.
281. Yeah. So, this number, I think sometimes it can seem like a vanity metric. But I told this to our team today in our team meeting. I was like, the cool thing is that you guys, every single time you go into a clean, like, you have a game you get to play. You have a game you get to play that, like, I want to deliver a 5-star experience to have an opportunity to get a review. And our team has bought in, mainly because Katie and I, like, we believe this to the core of, like, we want this to be fun. We want this to be bigger than just a job, just making money. And we understand that there's a lot of things that make this job difficult to begin with. And so how do we focus, put attention on the things that make this job enjoyable and make it worth it to go through all the hard things in order to get the reward. And so this is the thing that when we started this company that we did very intentional, is we built everything around delivering a 5-star experience. It just made the most sense from the client to the cleaners to the office that if everyone's goal was the same, to experience a 5-star, to create a 5-star experience, everyone would be happy. And so, like, this number is very intentional. And just to be really clear with it, like, we didn't send any text messages. This is all the cleaners just talking to the clients. Like, 0 text messages that we sent to clients. We've only sent text messages probably a handful of times, probably 4 or 5 times. But most of our Google reviews just come from the cleaners, like, literally delivering a 5-star experience and then asking with conviction. They're like, hey, I want this, because every single week at team meetings, we also show the total number that each cleaner has, and it becomes a status thing. How many does our top cleaner on our team, how many Google reviews does our top cleaner on our team have, Katie?
59.
59 reviews, right? And then we have 2 other girls that have 35, and then we have a bunch of girls in the 20s, okay? And then, of course, our new cleaners, they're at like 2, 6, and like 9, I think. And so, like, it just becomes like what the goal is. And so this makes it really fun, and it makes it so it aligns with what the business wants. Like, how many of you guys' businesses would be better off if every time a cleaner walked into a client's home, their goal was to deliver a 5-star experience? and then get the evidence behind it that they delivered a 5-star experience.
Yep.
Client fulfillment. We had canceled recurring clients. So we had 3 canceled recurring clients: Bart and Beth Fleming, Vicki Rumford, and Lori Clark. Okay. And then we had 10 new recurring clients. Okay. James, Jennifer, Gina, Allison, Sean, Jason, Marilyn, Jeff, Laura, and Terry. Right? And so the reason that we put these together is because you're going to have clients who leave. This is normal. This is normal. Having clients leave is normal. It's part of the game. There's an attrition. Just like there's an attrition to cleaners, there's also an attrition to clients. But this attrition is less impactful when you're focused on getting new clients. Does it hurt as bad when you get 10 clients and you lose 3, Katie?
No.
What happens if you add 0 recurring clients and you lose 3?
Yeah, definitely feel it. Ouch.
Yeah. And so understand the way things are rather than the way that you wish they were. I wish clients didn't leave. I wish clients didn't cancel. I wish. I wish I could become an overnight success. Accept the way that things are. Clients are going to leave. Cleaners are going to leave. So if you want to have a successful business, get clients and get cleaners faster than they leave. And then you get to wake up and be like, oh my God, overnight success. And this number is actually really cool. I'm like really excited to share this with our office gals. We've been tracking this number for 2 months. And the reason we started tracking it because we had a feeling that we had a lot of cleans fall off the schedule. And then we started tracking it, and our feelings were right. We definitely had a lot of cleans that canceled. And we thought a lot of them were like first-time cleans, but it turns out that a lot of them were also reoccurring. And come to find out, more of our clients that cancel, or more of our canceled cleans, are reoccurring than they are one-time cleans. But either way, our solution was to collect credit cards on initial sales calls, state about our 48-hour cancellation policy, and then with new clients or with existing clients, anytime they try to cancel within that 48-hour cancellation policy, let them know about the cancellation policy, take responsibility that we did a terrible job of communicating that cancellation policy, waive the policy, and then when it happens again, then they either didn't do it or we actually charge them, right? And what also happens, which you can't see on here, is all the people who tried to cancel, and we kindly reminded them of our cancellation policy, and what was their response, Katie?
They made it work. And we got to clean their house.
I'll figure it out, right? It's the power of constraint. It's the power of constraint. When you tell somebody what the rules are, and they're humans, they're going to try to test the rules, and then so as long as you have reinforcers and you have consequences, then people are more likely to follow your rules. Right? So this number is the lowest number that we've seen since we started tracking this. Now, it could just be a one-week fluke. Totally could be. However, regardless, collecting credit cards up front, letting people know about the cancellation policy, and it's cool because anytime I hear the girls do a new sale, that they clearly state the cancellation policy, they let them know why we have a credit card on file, and we just kind of let them know, it's like, hey, if you do want to cancel, just give us more than 48 hours. That's all we ask. That way we actually can figure cleaner schedules. And another little nuance too, if you guys want to take this, like if you're like, oh, I feel bad about charging the client, do you feel bad about the cleaner who has a clean on their schedule and then wakes up and all of a sudden they can't go to work today? And so one of the things that our office gals say is that the reason why we charge a 48-hour cancellation policy, anything less than 48 hours, is because this is how our girls make a living. They depend on these cleans in order for them to pay their bills and pay their rent. And so to respect them and make sure we can keep them on our team, we just kindly ask that if you do want to cancel, just give me a 48-hour notice. And if you cancel within the 48 hours, then we're going to charge you 50% of the service price, and that money is going to go directly to the cleaners to make sure they can pay that they are taken care of. Does that make sense? And every single person will say, yes, that makes sense.
And if they say no, we probably shouldn't be serving them.
And if they say no, then we're not going to serve them, because they only want them to win, and they don't care if the business wins. In fact, they're okay if we lose. And those are not your favorite customers. Favorite customers are the customers who want to win, but also want you to win. The second favorite customers are the people who want to win, and they just don't want the business to lose. The worst customers are the ones who want to win, and they're okay with the business losing. Those are not the customers you want. So Katie, before I shut this screen down, tell me your thoughts.
The conversions is awesome. If we could do that again, that would be epic. Definitely have a shortage of team members. Need to hire, need to do more phone interviews so we can have more Zoom interviews so we can hire more cleaners. The inputs are there. Just need to keep the gas bill down.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, I think one thing too that was brought up in one of my one-on-ones today was like not letting monthly revenues get in your way, like trying to get monthly revenue PRs get in the way of whether you are deeming your business growing or being successful or progressing. I think a better metric to focus on is weekly, and that's why I really highlight the weekly, is because you have a lot of control over the weekly, and if you can just put 4 weeks together, then essentially you're going to get a good month. But however, like for example, like next month, for all you Americans, not you Canadians, all you Americans, you're going to be recognizing the holiday of Thanksgiving, which means that you're not going to work on Thursday, and you may or may not be working Friday. But regardless, you're going to have one less working day in order for you to generate revenue, which means that the probability of you getting a revenue PR is probably just lower. Doesn't mean that it can't happen, just probably just lower, right? But who cares? Like, focus on something that you have control, that you can focus on progress. So maybe you can't get a monthly PR, but maybe you get a weekly PR. Next week, I'm less concerned about getting a weekly PR, but I'm going to be concerned about getting daily PRs. So if we can just make $3,000 in a day versus $2,700 in a day, I will consider that a win. The other thing you can focus on is like how do you set yourself up to when everything does line up, that you actually can get a monthly PR, is just like having enough cleaners. Make sure you have enough leads. So you can like ensure your future success by doing the things today that make it very, very impractical for you not to have a business that is bigger. You just continuing to get on interviews. Actually, let me pull all the way back. You just continue to spend money on Indeed, get leads, nurture those leads, get on phone interviews, be okay with people not showing up to their phone interviews. Oh, they didn't show up. Yes. We had 380 people who showed up to the phone interview. We had 180 that didn't show up. Crazy. Get on Zoom interviews, hire people, onboard them, expect them to fail, and if they don't, you're like, awesome. I'm surprised this person made it. If you do those things, your probability of getting to your $1 million cleaning business is very high. The probability of you becoming an overnight success is very high because of the inputs you did back here. That's it. There's no questions on this call, just so you guys know. There's no questions on this call. So, questions are for the people inside the coaching program. I know, Ada, you actually are in the program, but this call itself is there's other people who are not inside the coaching program. So if you guys do want to ask questions, thank you, Aldo, for bringing that up. Tomorrow on the coaching call, that's where everybody who's inside the coaching program can ask questions, right? So if you're interested in getting into the coaching program, James, will you drop the link down below? And there's a link explaining about the coaching program. If you want to be with cool people like Ada E, like Marie, like Hannibal, like Kristen, like most of the people on here, Renee Krause, Anna Harris, Janissa, Alyssa, Jocelyn, oh my gosh, Ryan, Bobby, Montoyas, I think you guys are the ones, Nicole Curbis, right? Julie, I think, is on here as well. Like most people on here are in the coaching program. If you guys want to be part of that, you guys can apply. James will drop the link down below. And for everybody who's already inside the coaching program, if you are just in the group coaching, like you don't have one-on-one coaching, we did open up one-on-one coaching, but I'll be honest with you, it's going to go away real quick because we just don't have a lot of spots. But if you're in the group coaching program right now and you're inside school and you're interested in actually getting one-on-one coaching, I think we have 2 spots open that Katie's actually taking on clients. So if you are interested in getting one-on-one coaching and you want to increase your probability of becoming an overnight success by doing the inputs during all this time up here, then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like Jessica and Lucas, you go from doing $13,000 a month to doing $70,000 a month in about a year and a half. Like
no, one night, overnight. And you want to know the inputs are required, then the fastest way to get to overnight success is to actually investing your time, investing your attention, investing your resources of money as well into somebody who's already done what you want to do and also help others do what you want to do. And that's the fastest way to create overnight success. Now, you can get there without those things. Maybe. It'll just take longer, and you have to figure it out yourself. But at the end of the day, if speed is important to you, then that's really what the value of coaching really does. It just is to me, it's the fastest shortcut. As long as you, because now a lot of people in here have invested in coaching before, so the key is actually to find the right coach. And I think that it's funny, even like last weekend we had a decade a day. I'm not sure if Jocelyn's on here, but she's on here.
Is she on here? Awesome. So she was just sharing some stories about past coaches, and it just was like, oh my God, how come we didn't find you sooner? I was like, the price you paid to get here is you have those people before. And Marie Jetta can say the same thing. Renee Krause can say the same thing. Like every single person here can say the same thing. And you know what? I tell you the story of Alex. I don't tell you all the other people before Alex, just so you guys understand. I had invested in other people before Alex, and when I saw Alex, I was like, no brainer. It was like I paid the price back here to get to Alex, right? And so understand that that's also part of the game. Like the investment you make to find a thing that works and find somebody who's actually doing what you're doing, done multiple times, and has your best intention in mind, like difficult to find. And so when you find it, fucking take advantage of it because it won't be around for long. Promise you. Like those things don't go. Those opportunities don't stay around forever. Because usually those type of people, they keep moving up. Right? So if you have the opportunity, take advantage while you got it. It's not going to be there forever. So if you're inside the coaching program right now, you're inside the school program and you're interested in one-on-one, like take advantage of it now before it goes away. Like, by the way, you can't even hang out with me anymore. Like, my spots are filled, right? Katie has a couple spots. So, like, Kristen, she's signing up with Katie, and we're going to onboard it tonight. So, like, she sees it. And so if you guys are interested, like, vamos, let's go, right? So, outside of that, yeah. Katie, any other thoughts that you got? I'm going to check the chat while I let you speak here.
I think just going back to, Logan, what you're saying about if you are seriously interested in making the changes, get out of your own way. Like, don't wait. Today, if Logan and I were to go to Vegas and attempt to have lunch with Alex and Layla, we probably would not have the opportunity to. Again, like full transparency, they are way too effing busy for us. We're probably too busy for them as well in this phase of life. But just like when the opportunity is there, like Logan had the opportunity to go fly out and hang out with them personally. Like we had Christmas with them. Today, it's not the same.
Yeah, and that's our fault. Like we didn't grow fast enough, so that's why we're trying to grow faster too. If you want to be friends with cool people, like you got to do cool shit. That's actually what Trevor told me. He's like, you need to go start another cleaning business. You need to go do a bunch of these so we can stay friends. I was like, fair.
Yes, sir.
So that's the other side of it too. Like if you guys want to stay friends with like cool people, like continue to do cool shit. Like cool people want to be around cool people, and people like I have more respect for people who are attempting to do cool things rather than people who are just complacent and just like I'm good. I'm gonna live my good life. Like go live your good life. Go travel. Go do all the things, everything that ordinary people do. Go be distracted. Like it's fine. I really don't care. but I really also don't want to hang out with those other people. Like, I want to talk about all the money we lost. I want to talk about all the problems we have. I want to talk about all the solutions we have. I want to talk about all the things, all the ideas we have, all the things that we're doing. I want to ask them questions. I want to figure out what they're doing so I can see how their brain thinks. I want to learn. I want to see how they think and how they process things, and also be able to like ask for their advice. I'm like, what would you do if you were me? What would you do? And sometimes that's one of the most invaluable things you can do, that you can have, is just have somebody else's perspective. You know, who is where you want to be. So, all right, boys and girls. Well, super appreciate you guys for hopping on here today. Hope you guys got some value from today. And again, if you guys want to become an overnight success, do the inputs required today to all of a sudden wake up and all of a sudden your business doubles, triples, quadruples. It's because you did the work. Like, it doesn't happen on accident. And although it looks like you had overnight success, the work happens the years that you spent over here. Right?
Failing,
making mistakes, whatever failing means, right? Learning. So, appreciate you guys so much. Happy freaking Monday. For all you guys inside the coaching program, see you guys on tomorrow's coaching call. And for everybody else who's not in there yet and you're not ready yet, cool. We'll be on here next week for the 37th straight time, sharing as much as we possibly can about growing, cleaning businesses. And yeah, thank you guys for also showing up today. So happy Monday. See you guys later.
bye.
Bye.